Okay, in this video we want to take the information that we just came up with and we want to ask some other questions about it. So what is the relative frequency of a given color in a bag? So like say you take your bag, like birthday cake bag. I want to say, well, if I gave you red, like how many or what percentage of red would you expect to see in a bag? So the way we're going to do that is figure out percentages, and the way that we do that is to take the number of red in the bag and divide it by the total number of M&Ms in that bag. So this cell right here, I'll just take it down here. So it's going to be 5 out of, so this is a proportional relationship, 5 out of 22. So if I plug that into my calculator, let's pull it up over here and here. So I take 5 divided by 22, and I get a decimal of 0.227. Okay, so this is a decimal, but I want to change it into a percent, so I would move that decimal point over 2 spaces to the right, so this would be 22.7%. So that is the relative frequency of red in the birthday cake bag. Okay, so 22.7%. And now I would do it the same way that on all of these. So I kind of have to get in a pattern with coming up with these answers. So it's going to be 12, right, divided by the total number, which is 22. Oops, 12 divided by 22, which is 54.5. So you just move that decimal point over 2 spaces, and that's how you get the percentage. So 54.5, and finally I would do that 5 again divided by the 22. I already did 5 divided by 22. It was 22.7%. So and then 0 divided by anything is just 0, so I would have 0% brown, 0% green, and 0% orange. Now when I add these up, it should be pretty close to 100%. Now I did round, so it's not going to come out exactly, but let's just go ahead and add those together. 22.7 plus 54.5 plus 22.7, and I get 99.9, but that's because I rounded off, so the total is really 100%. Okay, so I'm going to do that on these other two and come up with the relative frequencies of this. So I'll just do the first one. So 4 divided by 39 will give me the number of red peanut M&Ms as a relative frequency, and I do 10 divided by 103. And then also for the total, so if I want to say what is the percentage of red M&Ms total, then I would compare 19 to 164. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of the table in off camera. Okay, so I filled in the rest of the relative frequencies, and they both added up pretty close to 100, given some rounding error. And so remember that this adds up to 100, but this it isn't like that table up there. So this is just telling me the total that the total relative frequencies added up to 100, added up to 100, added to 100, and then the total frequencies of all the bags also adds up to 100. So I wouldn't add up in this direction the same way that I added up in that direction. So just that little caveat. Now the next thing I want to do is figure out the relative frequency of a color being in a given bag. So if I said, okay, I want to take red, and what is the percentage of reds that came up in the birthday cake bag, and the percentage of reds that came up in the peanut M&M bag, and the percentage that came up in milk chocolate, and then the total percentage of red should add up to 100% of the red, right? So it's going to add up to 100 this way now. So the way I do that, I need to go back to my original table. So I say, well, there was 5 red in the birthday cake bag, and there was a total number of red of 19. So I take 5 out of the 19. So the proportional relationship looks like that. And I can pull up my calculator and say 5 out of the 19. That percentage is 26.3. or 0.263, which translates to 26.3%. Okay, so that would go right there. And then I would take 4 out of the 19. And 10 out of the 19. So I get 21% and 52.6. I'll just round it to 53. So the total percentage would be 26.3 plus 21 plus 53, and you get 100.3, which, because of the rounding error, would add up to 100. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that on the rest of these different colors. So on yellow, I'm going to take 12 out of 37, 10 out of 37, and 15 out of 37, and do the same kind of a pattern on all of these. Okay. Okay, and to do the total, so the percentage of M&Ms that come in the birthday cake bag, I'm going to do the same procedure on the total. So 22 out of the 164 will be that relative frequency, and the 39 out of 164 and the 103 out of 164 would tell me the percentages of each bag. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I finished out that chart, and we found that 13% of the M&Ms came from the birthday cake bag, 24% came from the peanut M&M bag, and 63% came from the milk chocolate bag. And that makes sense because we had a lot more milk chocolate M&Ms than we did birthday cake or peanut. So that's the kind of thing that you can ask yourself, does this make sense? Should I have a higher percentage of this one than that one? Okay, and then you can go over here and let's ask, does this make sense? So do I have a higher percentage of milk chocolate that are red than the other two? And that looks like that's true. That is the case. I had twice as many that were milk chocolate than I did birthday cake, and it's pretty close to twice as much right there. Okay, so that's how you use these two-way tables, and the relative frequency table is how they are constructed. Okay.